Unlike any other place, South Luangwa is a land where life is exposed, raw, intense, and in direct confrontation at every moment. Here, lions control the dry riverbeds, once filled with water, now predator territory. They move in prides, hunt strategically, and maintain the highest population density in Zambia. Above, the piercing calls of African wild dogs echo, a warning to prey and a signal for a coordinated pursuit with one of the highest success rates on the continent. Just below, thousands of hippopotamuses crowd into cracked mud pools, struggling to find space in the last remaining traces of water under the scorching sun. Here, life is threatened not only from the outside, but also by members of the same species. There is no place for weakness, only the resilient endure. South Luangwa is not a place to observe. It is a place to confront. This land is the birthplace of the walking safari, where humans no longer sit behind glass, but walk through the wild on foot with absolute respect. Each step becomes a moment of dialogue with nature, where the boundary between human and animal fades, leaving only heartbeat and survival instinct. South Luangwa is not just a destination, it is a challenge, a journey, a place where life does not retreat, but looks you directly in the eye. The 2023 to 2024 rainy season barely arrived. Rainfall dropped sharply due to El Niño, pushing over half of Zambia into drought. In South Luangwa, many river sections dried into exposed sand. Water pooled into scattered puddles, and surface temperatures rose. Nile crocodiles buried themselves in cracked mud, waiting for floods with no certain return. Spotted hyenas fought vultures over dry carcasses. Leopards stalked prey in thinning canopies, but had to abandon many hunts as exhausted animals lay scattered across the grasslands. As water sources dwindled, food chains broke down, migration patterns shifted, and disease outbreaks emerged in the remaining swamps. South Luangwa was once zoned for sport hunting, but after policy reforms, the area fully transitioned to photographic tourism. Visitors walk or travel by off-road vehicle along designated routes, maintaining minimum distance from wildlife. This new model generates conservation revenue, ends commercial hunting, and significantly reduces firearm conflicts. The central region of Luangwa is where life revolves around the river. During the prolonged dry season, as water recedes, the river becomes the only lifeline. Oxbow lakes collect alluvial deposits, still holding life. Walking safaris Daily treks of 3.7 to 5 miles allow visitors to follow animal tracks through forests and grasslands under expert guidance. Each step is a story, a form of observation no vehicle can replicate. On the cracked surface of the Luangwa Valley, leopards move with such silence that they are nearly undetectable. There are no growls, no companions, just movement through dry grass, prompting antelope herds to withdraw. Body optimized for ambush. The compact, strong body with rosettes disrupts outlines, blending with dry leaves and shadows. The hind limbs generate rapid bursts of power at short distances. Each step is silent. Eyes adapted to low light help the leopard approach without being detected until the moment of attack. Efficient kill, safe storage. The leopard quietly shortens the distance to just a few feet, then lunges, grabbing the throat or nape and clamping the windpipe. Once the prey collapses, it is immediately dragged to a tree base and hoisted into the branches to avoid lions and hyenas. Thanks to this suspended cache, the leopard can feed in parts over several days, reducing hunting frequency. The leopard's advantage lies not in strength, but in its use of every small condition around it. The spotted coat does more than camouflage. It allows near invisibility among glaring sunlight and dense shadow. Short bursts of speed leave prey with no time to react. Even a moment's hesitation can end the chase. Unlike lions that prefer open grasslands or cheetahs that favor flat plains, leopards need only some thickets and sturdy trees. They adapt to woodlands, grasslands, and rocky slopes, as long as there is cover and an escape route. Additionally, leopards do not hunt constantly. After a kill, they store it securely in trees and feed over several days. This enables them to conserve energy even during the dry season or near stronger scavengers. Ecological role. By regulating antelope and rodent numbers, leopards maintain grass density and support new plant growth. Leftover prey feeds insects, returning nutrients to the soil. The leopard's quiet presence does not create upheaval like lions, but its short ambushes keep the Luangwa ecosystem efficient, clean, and balanced. On the dry lands along the Luangwa River, chacma baboons are among the few species that maintain order amid environmental instability. They lack dangerous claws and do not excel in speed, but their strength lies in group cohesion and organization. Tightly structured social systems set them apart. Alpha males not only defend but also stabilize the group, mediating disputes and directing movement. Their status comes not only from strength, but from reciprocal behaviors: grooming, food sharing, and caring for the young. The troop functions almost like a single organism. When danger appears, alarm signals are transmitted quickly, and individuals respond in unison. This is more than a survival instinct. It is how young members learn to navigate obstacles, identify threats, and remember escape routes. Baboon diets are highly adaptable. They consume leaves, fruits, roots, insects, and sometimes small prey. Because they do not rely on a single food source, they survive through both the dry and wet seasons. When water rises, they move closer to the river. In the dry season, they retreat to higher ground, areas easier to observe and less exposed to ambush. Chacma baboons survive by maintaining strong group cohesion, where each member contributes to collective safety. Young baboons learn from adults not just through observation, but through shared daily actions. Travel routes, food sources, and threat responses are all adjusted based on weather and terrain. This allows them to adapt to harsh environments with resilience and efficiency. Although the troop acts as a strong shield, individuals become vulnerable when separated. Young or small members often become targets for skilled predators. Within the group, status competition can sometimes cause temporary instability, affecting overall cohesion. Baboons do not live alone, nor do they impose through force. They survive by coordination, observation, and continuous learning. On ever-changing ground, their flexible group strategy ensures survival, not through weapons, but through intelligence. Across the sparse, bushy savannas of southern Africa, not every animal relies on claws or muscle to survive. For the impala, a medium-sized antelope, speed, alertness, and split-second reflexes are the key to escaping predators. Standing under 3.3 feet tall and weighing no more than 165 pounds, impalas can leap up to 33 feet in distance and 10 feet in height. These explosive escapes are enough to shake off leopards, lions, or wild dogs in seconds. This ability makes impalas difficult targets, even though they lack claws or large bodies for defense. The strength of impalas lies not in individuals, but in the herd. They live in large groups, sometimes numbering in the hundreds, creating a dilution effect. More moving bodies make it harder for predators to focus on a single target. A sudden leap from a few individuals can scatter the entire herd in multiple directions, disrupting ambush plans that require precision. Impalas have large eyes for wide vision and upright ears that detect faint sounds from afar. When an unusual noise is detected, a short snort is released. The herd immediately shifts from relaxation to alertness, ready to sprint in an instant. Diet adaptation, surviving the dry season. Another advantage of impalas is their ability to change diets based on the environment. In favorable conditions, they graze on abundant green vegetation. But during the dry season, when food is scarce, they switch to eating leaves, buds, or dry fruits. This flexibility allows them to survive in various habitats, from floodplains to dry woodlands, where more specialized grazers often struggle. Impalas are known for quick reflexes and agile jumping. They can abruptly change direction while running, avoiding direct attacks from predators. Their natural alarm system is also highly effective. Sharp hearing, keen eyesight, and group response allow the herd to detect danger early. However, impalas lack defensive capabilities. When surrounded, their only option is to flee. Once separated from the herd, panic weakens their reflexes, making them easy prey. Young individuals are even more vulnerable. Slower reactions, underdeveloped jumping ability, and higher risk of losing contact with the group during disturbances. Impalas are not the strongest species, but they clearly show that in the wild, agility and adaptability can be more valuable for survival than sheer strength. In the silent contest between predator and prey, impalas do not confront. They escape through reflexes, bursts of speed, and herd coordination. Because of this, they continue to thrive despite the dense presence of predators on the savanna. When the ground begins to tremble, it signals the approach of a Cape buffalo herd. Each male weighs over 2,000 pounds. With curved horns meeting at the forehead to form a horn boss. The entire herd moves as one unified block. This natural armor serves not only as a weapon, but also as a shield protecting calves within the oval formation. Adult males weigh approximately 2,100 pounds and stand nearly 5.6 feet tall. The horn base at the forehead is more than 2 inches thick, absorbing impact during clashes. High shoulders and sloping backs transfer power to the front legs, aiding in short bursts of counterattack speed. Cape buffalo live in super herds numbering into the thousands, divided into family groups led by females. When selecting a new path, females stand up one by one, turning to face the direction they prefer. The direction with the most votes becomes the herd's chosen route. This simplified democratic process prevents over-reliance on a single individual and allows the herd to respond to changes in grass and water availability. Their diet consists almost entirely of soft grasses, making the rainy season a feast and the dry season a test. When the plains dry out, the herd moves closer to the Luangwa River, sometimes crossing crocodile-filled waters to reach greener pastures. Calves are placed at the center of the group. If a predator approaches, the herd forms a circle, with horns facing outward to create a moving fortress. Cape buffalo rarely initiate conflict, but when cornered, they become Black Death. A lead buffalo lowers its horns, and the entire herd charges in wedge formation. This force is strong enough to knock an adult lion aside. Lone predators often retreat at the sight of hundreds of horns scraping the ground. African buffalo are not only known for their large size, but also for traits that help them withstand constant survival pressure. Their large, curved horns with thick bases at the forehead are not just weapons. They absorb heavy impact and can pierce thick skin. When cornered, a single adult buffalo can charge directly at a lion, forcing an entire hunting group to retreat. They are also highly organized. Herds usually move as a single unit, with calves protected in the center and older, experienced individuals leading. Direction is not imposed by one animal, but adjusted based on collective decisions, allowing the herd to locate the best grasslands and water sources under harsh conditions. Few herbivores are willing to face predators head-on, but buffalo are different. When necessary, they turn and counterattack, even against lion groups. This determination places buffalo among the most dangerous animals, despite having no claws or fangs. However, clear weaknesses remain. Buffalo depend on fresh grass. When dry seasons are prolonged, depleted pastures cause rapid weight loss and slower reflexes, making them easier targets. Water is also essential, forcing herds to approach riverbanks, where crocodiles lie in wait in muddy waters. Their large size and thick skin also attract ticks, fleas, and parasites. Serious diseases such as foot and mouth or bovine cholera have spread quickly, wiping out entire herds in just a few weeks. Calves are the weakest link. Even when surrounded by adults, panic or falling behind makes them easy targets for young predators, refining their hunting skills. In the wild, buffalo do not always win, but through collective strength, resilience, and the ability to counterattack, they remain one of the most formidable opponents. Even lions must be cautious. Each day, buffalo trim tall grasses, clearing the way for new growth, future meals for impalas and zebras. Their dung fertilizes the soil, attracts dung beetles, and supports microbe activity. When buffalo cross rivers, they stir up sediment, redistributing nutrients downstream to benefit fish and aquatic life. They are not as agile as impalas, nor as aggressive as crocodiles. Cape buffalo survive through group weight, herd discipline, and the horn shield at their foreheads. When dust rises and pounding footsteps echo, predators understand the roles have shifted. The prey has become a united force, ready to drive back any challenger. In the ecological chain of South Luangwa, no species exerts more influence than the lion. There is no need for roaring or display. Its silent presence alone alters the behavior of every other species, from buffalo to impala. But behind that image lies a complex social structure, a refined survival strategy, and an increasingly fragile reality. Lions live in prides, a distinct social unit ranging from 5 to over 20 individuals. Female lions are the core of all activity. They coordinate hunts, care for cubs, and maintain group stability. Male lions serve in a defensive role, guarding territory, repelling intruders, and ensuring genetic continuity. Thanks to this clear division of roles, lion prides maintain order and hunting efficiency throughout the harsh dry season, a period when grasses wither, water recedes, and prey gathers around the last remaining pools. The hunting skill of lionesses lies not in raw speed, but in strategy and coordination. They can lie hidden for hours in the yellow grass, using terrain to silently approach their target. Once the prey enters striking distance, the attack unfolds in seconds, with top speeds reaching 50 miles per hour. Precise lunges, sharp claws, and a lethal bite to the neck leave little time for response. There is no display, only effectiveness. Physically, lions are a combination of strength and agility. Their muscular bodies remain flexible enough to leap over 36 feet in a single bound. While daytime vision is average, at night, when most hunts occur, they can see 6 times better than humans. Still, no matter how powerful, lions are not immune to decline. In the past 3 decades, Africa's lion population has dropped by over 40%. Today, only about 20,000 to 25,000 remain in the wild, largely due to habitat loss, poaching, and human conflict. Fortunately, South Luangwa is one of the few protected areas where lion numbers remain stable. Thanks to strict protection measures, GPS tracking technology, and support from local communities. At one time, the Big Pride, in the region's most famous lion group, had over 30 members. Today, they have split into smaller groups scattered across the Mamba and Enafu areas, adapting to environmental and human-driven changes. Though reduced in size, they remain top hunters, continuing to hold their place at the top of the food chain. Lions do not need to roar to prove strength. What secures their dominance is not just claws or speed, but clear strategy, coordinated effort, and the ability to adapt to new challenges. But without human action, this silent ruler may gradually vanish from the lands it once ruled. On the Luangwa floodplains, a herd of elephants moves slowly toward the water. A leading adult male stands over 13 feet tall and weighs nearly 13,200 pounds. Its large body protects it from most predators, but also requires the herd to find enough fresh grass and several hundred liters of water each day, a difficult task during dry periods. Large ears with dense blood vessels constantly flap to cool the blood before it returns to the body. This mechanism helps regulate temperature when air exceeds 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Next to that, the trunk, containing over 40,000 muscle bundles, performs 3 primary functions: breathing, drawing water, and grasping food. Combining multiple tasks into one structure reduces the need for the forelimbs to perform manipulative actions, allowing them to support body weight. In the Mopane woodlands of the Luangwa Valley, elephants are not only resilient survivors, they also shape the landscape. With muscular strength, they can topple large trees, opening gaps in the canopy that create pathways for smaller animals to move. This behavior does not destroy the ecosystem, but supports diversity, creating space for grasses, low shrubs, and sun-loving species. Elephant dung contains a high number of undigested seeds, aiding plant dispersal across wide areas. Each herd travels several dozen miles per day, spreading seeds over vast terrain, a form of natural planting unique to large mammals. In South Luangwa, conservation programs are making positive impacts. Armed patrols help control poaching. GPS tracking systems monitor herd movements, enabling early risk detection and timely response. Community-based conservation efforts are shifting local perceptions, from seeing elephants as threats to recognizing them as sustainable tourism assets. With support from technology and communities, elephants in Luangwa continue to serve as ecological engineers, opening pathways, enriching forests, and sustaining the rhythm of wildlife across this sun-drenched land. Hidden beneath thick mud and still water, the Nile crocodile does not need to move much to hunt. Its stillness alone is a powerful weapon. At lengths reaching up to 20 feet in weights over 1,500 pounds, it is Africa's largest reptile and a predator that all riverbank life in Luangwa must watch for. The most notable feature of the Nile crocodile is its bite force, up to 22,000 newtons, equivalent to the pressure of a large delivery truck. This figure is nearly 8 times greater than the bite force of a great white shark, making the crocodile's jaws a steel clamp in the natural world. This allows it to avoid long chases. A single lunge from below the water, combined with a bite strong enough to crush the skull of a full-grown antelope, leaves little chance of escape once clamped. Fish make up the main diet, but Nile crocodiles are not selective. They will eat water birds, small mammals, snakes, lizards, and even other crocodiles when necessary. This dietary variety allows them to thrive in year-round water bodies like the Lufupa and Kapamba, where stable wetlands support abundant food sources. From early morning to late afternoon, they silently dominate the shallow pools where animals regularly come to drink. Though cold-blooded, the Nile crocodile displays rare parental behavior among reptiles. Breeding occurs at the end of the dry season. when dry sand along the river is ideal for digging nests. One nest can hold up to 80 eggs buried deep beneath damp sand. Remarkably, the gender of the hatchlings depends entirely on incubation temperature. Around 88.9 degrees Fahrenheit produces males, while higher or lower temperatures produce females. A biological process known as temperature-dependent sex determination. When hatching nears, the mother listens for faint calls from the nest, uses her snout to gently uncover the sand, and carefully carries the young to water. During the first few weeks, when predation risk is highest, both parents may participate in protecting the young, a rare and notable behavior among reptiles. The Nile crocodile is not only a predator, but also plays a role in ecological balance. It controls fish populations, consumes carrion, and maintains stability within the food chain. In Luangwa, they remain healthy in number thanks to intact habitats and strict conservation regulations. But if the environment changes, especially the water flow or sandbanks used for nesting, the life cycle of this apex predator can be disrupted. Luangwa still belongs to the crocodile, but that status depends entirely on the survival of its habitat. A body nearly 13 feet long surfaces near the bank, sending ripples into the sandbar. An adult hippo can weigh up to 4,000 pounds and possesses canines over 20 inches long, strong enough to shatter a crocodile's shell. Though adapted to fresh water, this mammal does not swim using fins. It walks or bounds along the bottom, using the thrust of its wide legs to glide through the current. The skin is nearly hairless, thick but prone to cracking under solar radiation. Glands beneath the skin secrete hipposudoric and norhipposudoric acids, creating a pinkish surface layer. This compound absorbs ultraviolet rays, inhibits bacterial growth, and retains moisture, a function not observed in other mammal species. During the day, river temperatures stay below 86 degrees Fahrenheit, allowing hippos to soak and reduce water loss through the skin. As sunlight softens, the herd leaves the water along fixed paths to graze on short grasses. A jaw up to 28 inches wide allows them to cut 88 pounds of grass in a few hours. Their foraging range can exceed 5 miles before returning to the river. On dry ground, this seemingly slow mammal can reach speeds of 30 miles per hour in short bursts, faster than most predators can react. Each stretch of river a few hundred yards long is typically dominated by a single male, surrounded by multiple females and calves. Males vocalize and display their canines to warn rivals. Actual clashes occur only when territories overlap. Gestation lasts about 8 months, with one calf per birth. Newborns weigh over 66 pounds and can nurse both on land and underwater, staying within 10 feet of their mothers during the first year. The IUCN lists hippos as vulnerable. Loss of riverbank habitat, conflict with riverside farms, and hunting for teeth as ivory substitutes are the 3 main threats. In South Luangwa, populations remain stable thanks to intact Mopane woodlands and community patrol programs. The Luama and Kapamba floodplains now act as natural strongholds, allowing hippos to maintain their ecological role, opening grazing paths by trampling, stirring mud to redistribute nutrients, and stabilizing river corridors, where even crocodiles must respect their distance. A sharp cry echoing over the lagoon marks the moment a fish eagle rises from the top of a mopane tree. Its white head and chest, dark brown wings, and golden yellow hooked beak contrast sharply against the blue sky, an unmistakable mark of Zambia's national bird. A wingspan of nearly 8 feet holds its body aloft on warm air currents above the water's edge. Each hunt follows just 3 steps, perching high to scan, locking onto a fish surfacing near the top, then folding its wings and diving, with talons dipping into the water for less than half a second to secure the catch. The soles of the feet have rough ridges and curved claws, gripping slippery fish as the 4 to 6 pound bird lifts itself back into the air. A low miss rate is achieved through a combination of high contrast, visual acuity, and perfectly timed coordination between wings and legs. This species has highly refined vision, capable of detecting color and reflective light, allowing them to spot fish scales glinting even from high altitudes. Besides keen eyesight, their claws are specially adapted, textured with fine spines that grip the smooth surface of underwater prey. A flexible diet is a major survival advantage. When fish are scarce, they can switch to catching small water birds, scavenging carcasses, or feeding on insects. Maintaining energy levels without needing long migrations. Each bird occupies a wide stretch of river territory, reducing conflict with others and securing long-term resource access. The consistent presence of fish eagles reflects the health of the wetland system. By removing small and diseased fish, they keep populations below explosive thresholds, limit nutrient depletion, and reduce the risk of freshwater disease outbreaks. Dropped prey or leftover fish provide protein for crabs, turtles, and wading birds, closing the energy loop along the river. African fish eagles dominate the Luangwa skies through a blend of vision, talons, and minimalist but effective hunting tactics. However, their advantages are tied to strong river flow and old-growth trees. When waters become polluted and riverside trees are lost, the Sky King can lose its throne in a single breeding season. Protecting river corridors and fish stocks means protecting the most vibrant symbol of the Mopane wetlands. In the transition zone between forest and savanna along the Muchinga slopes, African wild dogs maintain one of the most disciplined social structures among carnivores. Each pack consists of 6 to 20 individuals, led by a single breeding pair. Adult males typically remain in the pack, while females disperse upon reaching reproductive age to promote gene mixing and avoid inbreeding. This division of roles ensures genetic diversity while maintaining internal stability. Before each hunt, the pack gathers and emits a series of sneezes or short whistling sounds. Studies show these signals help the group quickly reach consensus on when to depart. Large disc-shaped ears capture low-frequency sounds and help dissipate heat. Their four-toed legs reduce friction and enhance stride efficiency. Their mottled brown, black, yellow coats are unique to each individual, allowing teammates to recognize one another during pursuit. Weighing between 40 and 80 pounds, they cannot bring down prey through brute force like lions. Instead, they rely on sustained speeds of 31 to 35 miles per hour and agile maneuvering. The lead group forces impalas, bushbucks, or young antelopes to change direction repeatedly. The central group maintains pressure. The rear group blocks escape routes. When the target is exhausted, a bite to the flank brings it down, and the rest immediately begin feeding. Success rates have been recorded as high as 80%, the highest among large African predators. Food is shared equitably. Pups, injured, and elderly individuals are prioritized in the initial feeding. African wild dogs are known for disciplined pack behavior, low internal conflict, and efficient coordinated hunting. They do not need to ambush prey at close range, but can run it down until it collapses. Every part of the kill is utilized, from meat to tendon-bound bones. Notably, packs often share food and care for both pups and injured members, helping maintain stable numbers. By targeting weak or injured prey, wild dogs help keep antelope populations balanced, indirectly protecting grasses from overgrazing and aiding seedling regeneration. Leftover bones are crushed by hyenas, and remaining internal organs support scavenger bird populations. This entire cycle reduces the risk of disease outbreaks in herbivores and stabilizes the biological productivity of the savanna forest ecotone. This region currently supports several dozen packs through measures such as anti-snare patrols, domestic dog vaccination campaigns, and GPS collar tracking systems. Reducing conflict with local communities through livestock compensation funds has significantly increased conservation awareness. If movement corridors remain intact, the Muchinga population could serve as a genetic reservoir for other declining protected areas. African wild dogs demonstrate that collective strength, discipline, and flexible strategy can fully compensate for size limitations. Despite their high hunting success, their survival depends heavily on pack size and continuous territorial range. This makes the species particularly vulnerable to human pressure and disease. Protecting the logistical framework for the pack, from land corridors to domestic dog vaccinations, is key to preserving the most sophisticated hunting structure on the savanna. In the high, arid Rocky Mountains of the Miombo Plateau, the klipspringer is one of the few mammal species capable of long-term survival. It is not as agile as a leopard, nor does it have large horns for defense. The klipspringer survives by moving precisely across steep, slippery terrain where most other species struggle to reach. With a compact body and strong hind legs, the klipspringer can leap onto tall rocks in a single jump. Its hooves are narrow and nearly round, allowing it to maintain grip even on small rock edges, with almost no slipping. This is a clear advantage in a habitat dominated by slopes and vertical cliffs. Its fur is thick, with a hollow internal structure that provides insulation and reduces impact while moving over rugged ground. However, due to limited self-cleaning ability, the klipspringer can be affected if the habitat is unhygienic, a limitation that cannot be overlooked. This antelope species typically lives in lifelong pairs. They coordinate in defending their territory and keeping watch for predators. When danger is present, both often choose elevated points for observation and signaling instead of engaging in a chase. A notable trait is that they do not need to drink water. In year-round dry conditions, all moisture is absorbed from vegetation. Thanks to their small body size and low energy needs, klipspringers can survive for long periods without surface water, an uncommon survival ability in semi-desert environments. The klipspringer is not known for strength or speed, but stands as a prime example of adaptation to harsh terrain. In the dry rock ecosystem, their stable presence shows that endurance and flexibility can sometimes be more effective than strength. South Luangwa is recognized as one of the last intact ecosystems in eastern Zambia. Within this valley, populations of predators, herbivores, birds, reptiles, and insects function through clear chains of interaction. Lions regulate hoofed animal density. Hyenas process carcasses. Wild dogs apply pressure on antelope herds. Baboons assist in seed dispersal. Elephants shape vegetation through branch breaking and well-digging behavior. The system relies on seasonal flows from the Luangwa River and nearby oxbow lakes. When water levels remain stable, grasses regenerate in cycles. Silt nourishes floodplains, herbivores regain weight, and carnivores maintain consistent food intake. Reduced rainfall, riverside deforestation, or illegal hunting can rapidly collapse one group and trigger cascading effects. Current monitoring data confirm the presence of over 400 bird species and more than 60 large mammal species, but also show population declines in areas of high human disturbance. Programs focused on replanting native trees, removing wire snares, and digging shallow wells during the dry season are showing positive results. Seasonal migration of elephants, antelopes, and rhinos is more stable compared to the 2020 drought period. To maintain this trend, 4 priorities must be addressed: buffer zone management, protection of ecological flows, land use control, and anti-poaching enforcement. Full implementation will ensure that South Luangwa continues to provide ecological services, from local climate regulation to tourism revenue, for current communities and future generations.